Big news for Social Security beneficiaries. Elizabeth Warren is back, and she's pushing hard for that $200 monthly raise we've all been waiting for. In a video she just released, the senator laid out exactly how this increase could be applied to benefit checks right now in 2026. This is something every single beneficiary needs to hear about. Welcome back to Benefits Post, your trusted source for Social Security news and updates. Before we dive into this important story, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button right now. It's completely free, and by subscribing, you'll never miss critical updates about your Social Security benefits, new legislation, and breaking news that directly affects your monthly income. We're working hard to keep you informed, and your subscription helps us continue bringing you this vital information. So please subscribe now and join our community of informed beneficiaries. Now let's get into what Senator Warren just announced. As many of you know, Elizabeth Warren has been one of the most consistent voices in Congress fighting for increased Social Security benefits. She's introduced the $200 per month raise multiple times through various pieces of legislation, most notably the Emergency Social Security Inflation Relief Act. This legislation was introduced twice in 2025, first around February or March, and then again at the end of October, and now here we are in January 2026, and she's out again reminding everyone why this raise is so desperately needed. The timing here is actually very significant, and I'll explain why in just a moment. In her recent video, Senator Warren addressed the affordability crisis that Social Security beneficiaries are facing right now. She made it crystal clear that seniors, people with disabilities, and everyone living on their monthly benefit check are getting absolutely hammered by rising costs. Here's what she said, and I want to break this down for you. Senator Warren stated that Social Security just hasn't kept up with rising costs, especially for things like medical expenses and home care services. These are the exact things that seniors disproportionately spend their money on. And while Social Security benefits are technically updated every year to account for inflation through the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, that adjustment simply doesn't match the actual increased costs of living for most people on Social Security. She put it this way: the adjustment happens after inflation has already done its damage. Think about that for a moment. By the time you see that COLA increase in your check, the prices have already gone up months ago. You're always playing catch up, never getting ahead. This brings me to a critical point about how the COLA is calculated, something I've been discussing for years. The current system is incredibly delayed, and frankly, it's failing beneficiaries. Here's how it works. They take the third quarter inflation data from July, August, and September of the current year. Then they compare it to the same period from the previous year. The difference in inflation becomes the COLA for the following year. Do you see the problem here? By the time this calculation is done and applied to your benefit check, months have passed. The inflation you experienced in real time throughout the year isn't reflected in your benefits until much later. This delayed system is hurting beneficiaries in a massive way. For 2026, the Trump administration announced a COLA of just 2.8%. Senator Warren pointed out that this translates to an average of only about $56 extra each month. Let that sink in, $56. That's not even enough to cover a week's worth of groceries for most people. And for seniors and people with disabilities who are already stretched thin, this is hitting especially hard. Senator Warren also highlighted a devastating statistic that everyone needs to understand. Over the last 15 years, Social Security benefits have lost 20% of their buying power. This isn't speculation or opinion, this is based on an actual study released by the Senior Citizens League in 2025. Let me explain what this means in practical terms. If you're a Social Security beneficiary, every $100 you receive today is only worth about $80 in purchasing power compared to 15 years ago. You've effectively lost $20 out of every $100 to inflation that wasn't adequately covered by COLA increases. No wonder beneficiaries are falling behind so rapidly. You're not imagining things. Your money really doesn't go as far as it used to. Senator Warren shared some important statistics that really drive home why this matters so much. According to her, 50% of all American seniors rely on Social Security for half of their income. That's half of all seniors depending on these benefits for a significant portion of their monthly expenses. But here's what's even more striking. She stated that Social Security is the only source of income for 1 out of every 4 beneficiaries. That means 25% of people receiving these benefits have no other income whatsoever. Their entire financial survival depends on that monthly check. When you understand these numbers, you can see why a $200 monthly increase would be absolutely life-changing for millions of Americans. So what exactly is Senator Warren proposing? In her words, she has a bill that would bump up benefits by $200 a month right now, and this increase would apply to seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities. Let me be clear about who would be covered under this proposal. This includes Social Security beneficiaries, SSDI recipients, and VA beneficiaries. I know many of you watching are on SSI and wonder if you'd be included. Yes, SSI is part of this proposal. The legislation Senator Warren is referring to is the Emergency Social Security Inflation Relief Act. Under this proposal, benefits would be raised by $200 per month for the first 6 months of 2026. That means from January through June. We're already in the first half of 2026 right now. This is literally the time period when these increased payments were supposed to be going out. If you do the math, $200 multiplied by 6 months equals $1,200 in additional benefits over that period. That's significant money that could help beneficiaries cover groceries, medical expenses, utility bills, and other essential costs. Now, I need to be completely transparent with you about where this legislation stands. This bill has not passed yet. Senator Warren is out talking about it and pushing for it, but it still needs to make its way through Congress. I know many of you will be wondering when this is coming and whether it's been approved. The honest answer is that we're still waiting. There is also a concern I want to share about how this proposal is currently structured. If the $200 increase only lasts for 6 months and then abruptly ends in July, that could create a difficult situation for beneficiaries. While the extra $200 per month would certainly be welcome, having it suddenly disappear after 6 months would be a shock to household budgets that have adjusted to the higher amount. A more refined approach might be beneficial. For example, Congress could target the lowest income beneficiaries who need it most and potentially increase the amount to $400 per month for those individuals. Alternatively, they could keep it at $200 but extend the time frame to a year or 2 or even longer. By focusing on those with the greatest need, the program could have a more meaningful and lasting impact. The bottom line is this: Elizabeth Warren continues to be a vocal advocate for increasing Social Security benefits, and she's right about the challenges beneficiaries are facing. The 2.8% COLA for 2026 is simply not enough to keep up with real-world inflation. The 20% loss in purchasing power over 15 years is devastating, and millions of Americans who depend on these benefits for most or all of their income are struggling. Whether the $200 per month increase becomes reality depends entirely on what happens in Congress. Unfortunately, as with so many things in Washington, we have to be patient. Lawmakers move slowly, very slowly, but this is an issue that affects real people every single day, and it deserves urgent attention. I will continue to monitor this legislation closely and bring you updates as soon as anything changes. Make sure you're subscribed to Benefits Post so you don't miss any breaking news about Social Security increases, COLA announcements, or new legislation that could affect your benefits. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, please share this video with friends and family members who are also on Social Security. The more people who understand what's happening with their benefits, the better. Stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.